Hey guys, I'd like to apologize ahead of time. I have the hiccups, and I don't want to wait to record this. There it is. And so I'm just gonna continue. So last where we left off, Deku was walking into the city, inside of Titan Hero. Now he's just walking through the city, and as he gets to the edge, because he's walked through the entire city, as he gets to the edge, he looks back and he carves an arrow into the ground, pointing in the direction he's going. And then he puts a T and an H. And then he keeps walking. He passes 3 cities as he's doing this. And he does it every time he, goes in one. Now, it's been a week since he's left. And it's starting to drain his stamina. So, Deku decides to take a break from the Jaeger and eat. He ate on occasion, but he never really got a full meal in. Okay. So he walks up to a abandoned building and he climbs out of the Jaeger and sits on the roof. Now, he's eating some food he picked up along the way. As he's thinking, now what? It's not like I have an objective. I mean, I could get the satellites back up and let the people know that I could clear the continent. And he thinks I could get the satellites back up. No, that wouldn't make any difference. I would have to get to the mainland for that, and they wouldn't send me, but they wouldn't let me come back. And then he keeps thinking. He stands up, and his eyes flicker red. And he says, "And I guess I'm just gonna have to clear the continent." Because if you didn't know, the only thing, the only what's the word? The only protocol for, the only protocol there is for initiating Project Blackout is whether a Category 5 or higher kaiju attacks, or the entire continent is overrun. Now, in this case, a Category 5 attacked, and since it was dealt with quickly, it would have stopped Project Blackout, but they didn't know that. They didn't know that, so they still initiated Project Blackout. Now the entire continent's overrun because it's been over 2 years. So, now Deku's sitting there as he hears a crash. He turns his head to see a kaiju eating something. Because of his quick thinking, he realizes that there must be people over there because kaiju don't attack other kaiju. So, he quickly runs up and gets an Obsidian Fury, Titan Hero, and he runs towards the kaiju, completely discarding what kind of category or what species it is. As he gets there, he sees that it is a leatherback, a category 4 kaiju, and I'm gonna look up a picture. Here's a picture of leatherback. It is currently beating on rocks of a cave. It's nearly gotten a group of 5 survivors, and Deku is now bolting towards it. Leatherback turns to see Obsidian Fury, Titan Hero, and as it turns, it starts running towards Deku. But before it can actually hit him, Deku initiates the command by saying, "Ruby, Ruby." You don't know this, but Ruby's the name of his AI. All the Jaegers have an AI. So he says, "Ruby, activate." He says, "Ruby," and Ruby reads his thought wave, and with that, his eyes go red. I mean crimson red, as one blade pops out of his right arm. He says, "You will fall to the Titan like all the rest," over the intercoms. And the group of survivors look at him, and they start crying. We're saved, they say. Leatherback then starts charging Deku. He's trying to beat him with the sides of his fists, like a gorilla. Each attack, Deku blocks, and then he says, "Gotcha." As he uses thrusters in his feet to knee the Leatherback in the side, and then he does a twirl, cutting its stomach open. This pretty much just guts him, and Leatherback gets up and tries to throw a final punch. With that, Deku reaches out his hand, grabs the Leatherback's head, and with a smile, he squeezes it until it breaks. The people come out as Deku gets out of it, kneels down with Titan Hero. Two of these people are Kirishima and Momo. They look at the Jaeger and think, who is he? Titan Hero isn't a registered Jaeger. Deku looks down at them and says, "You two." Out of the 5 people, he points at Kirishima and Momo. He says, "You're pilots. Well, you're strong enough to be one. Come with me. The rest of you, there's a settle. I'm continuing this way. You can follow my trail. There won't be any kaiju along the path." They nod their heads, and Kirishima and Momo jump on his hand. He raises him up to his head as they come in to the cockpit. He turns around and says, and he uses his brain, because of his intelligence rating, he's learned how to command his body to do certain things. So he's made it to where his body is sweating massively. And he also told the AI, Ruby, to boot up Protocol 4. Protocol 4 is not a battle protocol. It is pretty much add second cockpit. So he added the second cockpit, pretty much just making it a normal Jaeger, because its inability is pretty much out. You know how the Iron Man suit forms? It pretty much did that, but formed a second cockpit. They come in and they say, "Deku?" He turns around and his body drenched in sweat. He says, "Hey guys," with a shivered voice, and says, "You mind helping me out here?" They run over to him, and as he's falling to the ground, they grab him. They ask, "How'd you do that?" He says, "Well, I saw the Leatherback and I ghost drifted." They say, that's crazy. That could have killed you. He says, yeah, I know, right? Well, either way, welcome to Titan Hero. They look at him and say, wait, Titan Hero took down the Category 5. Yeah, my dad and me, we piloted it back then, but he's gone now. At least I don't know where he is. So you ghost drifted to save us? Yeah, pretty crazy, right? So where's Bakugo? And Mina? They look down and kind of shameful and say, our camp was being attacked. We grabbed as many as we could, but we had to leave him. He has our Jaeger. But I don't know how safe he is. He has his Jaeger, but I don't know if he's okay. Now, if you're wondering, Bakugo's Jaeger is this one. This is Bakugo's Jaeger, modeled after Gypsy Danger with the most advanced technology. It was stationed in Indonesia. Actually, fuck it was in Australia. They lie with the rest of the mechs. Okay, I'm gonna switch back now. And so, they say, okay, well, this is my hair. It was a birthday present. It was never registered, though. So you could say, I'm a vigilante, not a hero. He laughs as he says, so can you guys take over for me for a while? I kinda said we'd escort them. They say sure, as they try to suit up and use Obsidian Fury, also known as Titan Hero. They manage to pilot it, but it's very difficult for them. And now they're walking. They get forced towns over. But if you didn't know, the leftover people, which was about 3, were on Deku's or Titan Fury's. Damn it. Or Titan Hero's shoulder. So that's how they got to there so fast. And yeah. So pretty much they got 3 cities over. He left them in the 3rd city. And he told Bakugo and he told Kirishima and Momo that they can rest, and that he'll go strip for the night. They say no, that's a horrible idea. He says, I've been ghost drifting for 3 months now. That's how much strain is on my body for me ghost drifting for a week. I'll be fine. They look amazed and say, you can ghost drift for a week? He says, yeah, but it usually puts me out of commission for a day. So you guys get some rest. I have some bunks in the back. Now if you're wondering, Obsidian Fury has made to be one of the most compact and useful. Not Obsidian Fury. Titan Hero was made to be the most advanced, not second to none. It's meant to be the most advanced Jaeger. So it has a small living quarters, and by living quarters I mean it has really compact bunks, 2 beds. That's it. Because there were 2 beds for 2 pilots. And so, yeah. So, Deku, it's saying, oh, finally. So he gets back in the cockpit and says, so you miss me? Uh, Ruby says, yes, it's hard. I can't have a conversation with two pilots. It's never intimate enough. Deku says, you know, you remind me of my sister. You remind me of my sister I never had. Ruby says, oh, shucks, in a sort of sarcastic voice. He says, calm down, Ruby. Now, if you're wondering where Blake is in all this, Blake is... Let's say Deku has him in a car, tailing behind him. What Blake does is he scraps up kaiju scales and uses that way they can sell them if they ever come across, like a trading post. Okay. So, now, Deku is currently piloting Titan Hero, and Ruby is talking like an actual person. Now... Okay, damn it. Okay. Try to get these goddamn hiccups under control. Okay, so Deku's gone 3 towns over, and now he's in the 4th town. And he's thinking, well, I guess I'll set up here. Deku spends 6 months in the city, and every day he uses his 2 swords as shovels. He uses his 2 swords as shovels, and he digs a giant wall around the entire city, so high that it towers over. It almost towers over his Jaeger. It's like Wall Maria tall. If he jumped at like max power with boosters, he'd be able to clear it. But that's the only occasion. There's no chance a kaiju's making it over unless it's the category 5 or higher. So, this entire time, Deku and the AI have grown closer. Like, tight. Like, Deku talks to Ruby a lot. And Ruby has meaningful conversations with Deku. Oh, and, it's not for aesthetic, and his quirk cannot turn his eyes red. He can't turn his eyes red unless he actively does it, which takes as much energy as it would to make him sweat. So Deku's quirk cannot make his eyes red, and it's not for aesthetic. It has a meaning. I just wanted to put that out there so y'all could think about that. Well, now Deku has finished the giant wall. As he says, Hiroshima Momo, thanks for all the help. You've been helping me. You give me time to rest and patrol the walls. I can't believe you found 50 survivors in this city. They were in the sewers? Well, either way, I'll be back. There's like, where are you going? He says, it's a surprise. I'll be back. He walks off, and In the 6 months, by the way, it's been 7 months since he left. So during the time when he was building the wall, he stumbled across a kaiju Jaeger graveyard. Now, he was looking for materials to make it out of when he found this, so it is like 700 miles away. It is by no means close. So he's gonna go get them a Jaeger. He's gonna go make them. He's been building a Jaeger in some of his free time, and he's built them a new Jaeger, which I'm gonna pull up on screen. This is the Jaeger. Its name is. You know what? Comment down, put it in the comment section. What do you want this Jaeger's name to be? Put your name. Oh yeah, and also, this is meant to be a surprise, but I'm going to pick one viewer who comments an OC character for this. Yeah, if he has a quirk, then if they have a quirk, it's going to be very rare, and it lowers your chances of being picked. I'm looking for characters without quirks. Also, Deku will meet them here soon. So comment the OC's name and what you want, and they will be a train. They will be someone Deku meets. Comment what you want their role to be too, like as in sister, brother, acquaintance, or just friend of Deku's. And yeah, they also need a name and a backstory. So comment that below if you want to be in the what if. So yeah. So fuck it. Instead of having you guys pick the name, I'm just gonna do that. This Jaeger's name is Scrap Iron. It's about as big as Leatherback. But if you didn't know, Titan Hero is bigger than Yellowback. Yes, Yellowback, Leatherback. He's about about shoulder to about elbow to shoulder of a Jaeger's arm taller. So Deku grabs this, and on his way back, he sees a Jaeger. But he gets an off feeling, and Ruby says to be careful. He's one of us. He's weirded out by that and says, so it's a pilot? She says, no. Now Deku's confused. Ruby's insinuating that it's not a pilot, but it's one of us. Then Deku asks Ruby, what do you mean it's one of us if it's not a pilot? She says, it is registered Apex. It is one of us. Deku gets confused as he says, okay, Ruby, power down, I'll take it from here. Ruby powers down. But then Deku hears Ruby in his head. He says, I meant to ask you, why do you call me Ruby? Deku says, didn't I ask you to power down, Ruby? He says, I am powered down. Check your monitors. He opens a small monitor, and she's powered down. He then says, so why am I hearing your voice? You've been infected. You see, this Jaeger, or as you call it, is the original Obsidian Fury. Well, as your people called it. The biomech is now at your will, but other biomechs will see you as an ally until you assault them, or you commit a crime they see as fittable by death. is suitable for death. Deku's fucking freaking out, but he's getting the gist of what the fucking AI's saying, because of his big brain. He's saying, so, I've been infected because this is the original Obsidian Fury, and I have kaiju cells in me now. Because of my unique situation, aka quirk, I am not being controlled. She says, no, you're not being controlled. You overwhelm the kaiju cells. You gain the skill of that of Obsidian Fury, and the knowledge. You can speak kaiju, by the way. He says, what the fuck? He then realizes, wait, if you were referring to Apex as biomech, that means as Deku's, as Titan Hero is punched in the face. Titan Hero falls to the ground as he raises it. As it looks up, I'm gonna switch out of this. As it looks up, it then retracts its blade and then says, over the intercoms, Apex, you were assaulting Titan. He says, tut. And then he says, you are assaulting the biomech Obsidian Fury. We'll be forced to engage in combat if you continue this. Apex then says back in kaiju. Obsidian? Weren't you taken out in the war? He says, yes, but I have bonded with a host. The pilot of this mech, the pilot of this Jaeger, which is now named Titan Hero, is strong. You are no match for him, and I would hate to see a comrade fall. Apex laughs and says, no human can best a kaiju in combat. And now I have this power of their Jaeger. He cannot best me, and I will free you from this prison. Apex readies for combat. And then Deku says, I am Deku. You may call me Titan. And like all the others, you will fall. And then Deku releases the blades and gets into fighting stance. He then says, Titan Hero, engaging. Apex replies with, Apex, engaging. And now, Apex leaps at Deku. Deku smirks a bit inside the thing as his eyes turn red. If you didn't notice, the eyes turning red is Obsidian's Fury's personality taking over. If Deku's brain didn't hold it back, Obsidian would have squashed the humans he saved. As this happens, Obsidian Fury smiles as he goes for a swipe, but he stops and points the blade directly at him, at the Apex leaping, as he says, as he thinks, fire, as he launches a missile at Apex. Apex is caught off guard with this, thinking it was going to be a melee fight, as he says, so this is how we're playing, eh? Your human is crafty. As Apex raises his head, Obsidian Fury, this is Obsidian Fury, applies the blade to his head, and Apex sharpens his claws as Deku replies, Apex, I wouldn't try it. Apex then realizes that Deku's knee is plated with a sharpened metal, and now his other hand currently has a missile ready to fire point blank. You are one of us. I am one of you. inform the other biomechs that the Titan will not fall. I demand respect from amongst us, and I will get it, whether you like it or not. Apex then replies with, "Yes, my king." Obsidian Fury's memories then kick in saying that they have a system. If you are bested in combat, and you do not die, the winner will be treated as king. This is a biomech thing. The kaiju do not follow this rule. They are dishonorable. Apex, Deku says, I am tight. You are Apex. I want you to inform the other biomechs that this continent will be cleared. I want you to take out every kaiju you see with extreme prejudice. Apex replies with, "Yes, my liege," as he stands up and runs off. Deku's eyes go back to green as he says, "So Obsidian's with me, eh? I guess he got smart when he lost." Ruby replies with, "Hey, that's unfair. I was at a disadvantage." Deku says replies with, "Huh? I didn't mean you, Ruby, I meant Obsidian." Ruby replies with, "I know. Who do you think can talk? Why do you think this AI has so much personality? The Kaiju's membrane has been converted into this AI. I am Obsidian, but I am now Ruby. The AI protocol also swapped my gender. Although I never really had one, I would be classified as female amongst the humans. But I did want to ask you something. Why do you protect them? You are much stronger, and you could easily overpower them." He replies with, "Because a tyrant will live a lonely life amongst those who serve him, but a hero will live a life full and amongst those who love him. I am Titan, power overwhelming that surpasses gods, and I am hero." Ruby replies with, "I see. This is being updated. Protocol are being updated. Human survival and happiness is now protocol number 2. What's protocol number 1? Survival. Happiness cannot be achieved unless you are alive." He replies with, "Damn. Well, I see how it is." He then says, "Well, I'm taking scrap iron back. You don't have, we can either talk talk while we're on our way back, or we can sit in silence. You choose." He then replies with, "Silence is fine. I have had a very full day." Deku is now fucking best friends with the AI, also fucking the terrorist Obsidian Fury. And now he has his loyal servant, which is fucking strong as fuck. Now, I'm thinking. Deku takes scrap iron back to the walls, and he says, "Kirishima, Momo, got you a present." They come out and see fucking Titan Hero holding scrap iron, and says, "I built it for you." It's combat ready too, fit with brass knuckles. They smile and say, "Deku, you really? This is amazing." He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here with you guys. They say, leave it here with us. Aren't you staying? He says, no, I have a mission to complete. They say, mission? He says, I'm gonna clear the continent and bring back and take away the black. Okay, so they say, oh, that's a very ambitious goal. But if anybody can do it, you can. You're like a ghost. They say as a pun. You know that's not funny, right? They reply with, it's funny if you make it funny. He laughs a bit and says, haven't laughed in a while. Thanks. Well, consider this a parting gift, and take care of my friend back there. He looks over and sees Blake, and says, try to teach him how to pilot. He's very eager. They say, okay. As Deku gets back inside of Titan Hero and walks off. He's created 2 safe havens for humans. And over time, that city has grown to be called Metropolis. And if you didn't know, it's going to be a time skip. It was 7 months, so it is currently... What time should I make it? It's currently been 2 years and 4 months. So it is 1 month away from Atlas Destroyer awakening. Okay. So Deku has cleared 4,700 kaiju off the continent, but it feels like he hasn't made a dent. It's almost like they're being produced faster than he can kill them. Oh, and if you didn't know, a kaiju a day only amounts to about 730. That's only 730 kaiju. He killed over 4,700, which means he killed over 5 kaiju a day. He's gone through 2 power cells. So he started with 93. He left 2 with that place, which means he lost, which means he was at 91. He used 2 power cells, which means yes, he's at 89. And he left behind 2 power cells for Kirishima and Mama, which means he has 87 power cells. You know what? I'm aging up everybody. When they started the academy, instead of being 6, let's say they were... No, they started the academy. Let's say they started the academy when they were 12 and then 5 years passed. So they are now 17. Yeah. Because I want to make it ship worthy. So yeah. I'm gonna end it here. But I want to end it off with a cool picture. So I'm gonna go back to... Shut up. I know you're judging me in the comments. Okay. So he is now. It's been 2 years and how many months? 2 years and 4 months. And Deku is now approaching a canyon where he's found kaiju tracks leading around this area. So he is now approaching the canyon, and it is 4 days away from Atlas Destroyer's awakening. And so we're gonna head here. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Like I said, comment your OC in the description below. No quirks, but make sure you comment the name of the mech. Not the mech, the Jaeger they want to pilot. And if you go to the description of my channel, you'll find my Discord link. Join the Discord and pretty much talk to me about what ifs you want. Or you can give me OCs you want to put me to put in the what if. Pretty much, yeah. Well, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you, demons, for watching. And see you next time.